came across a post recently in one of the Facebook groups for destination weddings, and I really thought I should share it with you guys because there's a lot of things to be careful of, shall we say. So the post goes something along these lines. Hey, my wedding's scheduled for January of 2025. They signed a contract in January, but they found out recently that the hotel is over 85% full for the weekend that they wish to get married. They originally booked a small block, only 10 rooms through their agent, knowing that they could add more rooms when they got the money to do so. They wanted to add around 40 additional rooms. So they proceeded to say, with the hotel taking forever with communication with their agent, the hotel finally came back and only offered 5 of the additional 40 rooms that they were requesting. They have a large guest list, and they are just very frustrated that they weren't not made aware of the availability decreasing at the hotel despite the fact that they had their wedding booked. So they're wondering now if they should change their date to accommodate their guests and have the wedding that they've always dreamed about. So there's a lot to unpack there. I will say they really got incorrect information from the start. The purpose of doing a room block is to block the rooms that you're going to need. It's never a good idea to do a room block smaller than you think you will need, because your rates and your availability on additional rooms past the size of that room block are not guaranteed. Also keep in mind that the weddings department at the resort isn't necessarily talking to the groups department, the rooms department in charge of reservations. There's not much communication going on there. So while yes, it is true, the weddings department understands that you have a beyond memorable wedding book at the resort, which has a minimum of 50 guests, they don't know the room block that you decided to do. They don't have any of that information. That's handled by your travel agent. So your travel agent went and really just advised you the wrong way in this situation. They knew you're going to have a wedding with 50 guests, but they allowed you to only block 10 rooms. And that's a bit of a red flag right there. It's generally, caused by inexperience. This is a brand new resort. It's going to be full. You've got to book the rooms that you're going to need, particularly in high season. High season in destination is January until about mid-April, sometimes the end of April, it really depends. Knowing that it's going to be a new resort in demand in high season, you shouldn't have gone with 10 rooms to start. So it's frustrating that you were guided the wrong way. I wish you were guided the correct way and overbook the amount of rooms by a little bit and then release back anything that goes unsold. But really, you should aim to have about 90% of your room block that you book originally booked for your wedding. So we never recommend our clients book less than the amount of rooms that they think they're going to need, because this situation can come up quite easily. I think there's this general mentality out there that resorts, there's always rooms available. It's just not true. Resorts sell out on the regular. Resorts book up on the regular. So if you're doing a destination wedding, this is why you need to do a room block, because you need to guarantee that you're going to get the rooms that you need. So another thing that came up in the feed here in this conversation was there were other brides that were commenting that they didn't have a room block at all. And that was quite concerning again, because our team is always going to recommend that you do a room block if you're going to have more than 10 rooms booked at the resort, at any resort really, because you need to guarantee that those rooms will be available for your guests. If you think about it this way, not only if you don't do a room block, you're not blocking in your rates, right? So if you're not locking in your rates, you could book today and the rates are continuing to go up. So while you book today and you get one rate, if the resort's in demand, prices are going to go up, and the guests that book later are going to pay a much higher rate. Or maybe it's high season, and guess what? I came in with one of my groups and I took all the rest of the inventory at the resort. Now you may end up in a spot where you've got half your guests booked and the other half of your guests can't get a room because I took them for my group. That's why you do a room block for a destination wedding. Jeez, if you're being advised to do what we call a flex group or a room block where there's no deposit required. A deposit generally at most resorts is $100 per room. So it's not a significant investment when you think about the grand scale of an entire room block, the value of an entire room block. If you're being directed towards not doing a room block and you're having a wedding more than 10 guests, give us a call. We would love to chat with you about it and explain to you all of the benefits and drawbacks of doing a destination wedding group without a contract and doing a destination wedding group with a contract. I will tell you that 95% of our groups are contracted groups. There are some occasions where a flex group or a non-contracted group is the way to go, but it really depends on each individual situation. Be sure that you're discussing it with your agent, that you're discussing both options, and that you are 100% aware of how that's going to work.